Chordata is a phylum that includes members with 4 distinct morphological features: post-anal tail, pharyngeal slits, dorsal hollow nerve cord, and a notochord. All chordates have these features at some point in their lifetime, though some are lost past the embryonic stage of development. Chordata is separated into 3 subphyla: Craniata, Urochordata, and Cephalochordata. Craniates, most commonly known as vertebrates, make up the largest subphylum in Chordata. Organisms, characterized as vertebrates, have a backbone. Therefore, most animals that come to mind, such as humans, cats, dogs, and so on, are all vertebrates. Urochordata, often called tunicata, is another subphylum. Urochordates are also known as sea squirts. They are blob-like creatures that spend most of their life attached to the underside of boats, the sides of docks, or attached to below-water rocks. The members of Cephalochordata are commonly called lancelets. Lancelets are small creatures that resemble fish. They lack jaws and obvious sensory features. They often live in shallow water and burrow in the mud.
The body plan of the chordata is a complex thing indeed. There are 4 distinct features that characterize a chordate as such, all of which emerged during the Cambrian explosion. The first is the notochord, or skeletal rod, which is a string of large cells densely arranged in a protective sheath. It is used to stabilize the organism. The second is a dorsal hollow nerve cord which runs the length of the organism. This sets the Chordata phylum apart because most other phyla have solid and ventral cords. The third is the pharyngeal slits or gills, openings between the pharynx and the outside. These are used for oxygen intake while underwater. The fourth is the post-anal tail, an extension of the notochord and nerve cord past the anus. Now, before you start looking for your tail and gills, you should know that each of the 3 subphyla of Chordata, tunicates, lancelets, and vertebrates, have each of these features for varying amounts of times and in different life stages. The tunicates only have these features in their larval stage. They lose all 4 in adulthood. The lancelets, however, have all 4 throughout their adulthood. The vertebrates have a notochord, pharyngeal slits, and a post-anal tail in the embryonic stage of life. The notochord becomes the bony vertebral column, and the nerve cord comprises the brain and spinal cord. The post-anal tail can be seen in the coccyx, and finally, the gills, which are used to breathe in the womb, close up while in utero. Although the subphyla become organisms that differ dramatically, they begin with the 4 major features that give them one of the most unique body plans and the title of Chordata. Chordates have been around for a short time compared to other organisms. The first chordate ancestor appears in the fossil record in the Precambrian era around 570 million years ago, compared to fossils of bacteria from 3,500 million years ago. There are actually very few fossils of early chordates, the earliest one being from 550 million years ago. Now to focus on modern-day organisms. Many animals can be categorized as protostomes or deuterostomes. The main difference between the 2 groups is seen in their embryonic stages. In protostomes, the blastopore forms the mouth, while in deuterostomes, the blastopore forms the anus, and another opening becomes the mouth. Chordata belongs to the deuterostome group. Also in this group are Xenoturbellida and Echinodermata and Hemachordata, to whom the chordates are most closely related. Though all of the chordates have the same 4 characteristics, there are differences among the chordate subphyla. As stated previously, many chordates lose some of these features past their larval stage, which is often an indication of sexual maturity. However, because many vertebrates demonstrate a form of neoteny, a phenomenon in which adults in a species retain traits previously seen only in juveniles, it was once believed that vertebrates arose from larval sea squirts that could reach sexual maturity. While this sounds far-fetched now, the reasoning behind this was that because the sea squirt's tail was an apparently transient appendage, merely an outgrowth of the body, that could be the evolutionary link connecting sea squirts to all higher-order vertebrates. But recent molecular analyses have shown this idea to be unlikely. It is more likely that vertebrates tunicates, and sea squirts just share a common ancestor. However, that does not deny the presence of the neotenous traits in many vertebrates. An example of this would be how modern-day adult humans are similar to ancestral juvenile primates. Some theorists believe that the neoteny in humans is crucial to our evolutionary development. We develop more slowly than other primates, so that while there is a significantly different appearance in adults and children in other primate species, there is not so drastic of a difference between human adults and children. Humans take a longer time to mature, and a nurturing instinct is triggered when we see something adorable. This could explain why we retain childish features like flatter faces, big eyes, relatively hairless faces and bodies, and relatively large heads, which could explain how humans were able to develop large brains in such a short period of time.